Hello, Guardians. Welcome to week 5 of the Mission Ready Program Challenge. Congratulations, you are already halfway through this program. I'm Dr. Shemaine Brown, your Buckley Grit psychologist. This week, we are talking about one of my favorite topics, sleep. Quality sleep is just as important for good physical and mental health as exercise and proper nutrition. It's not just about rest, it's about restoration, repair, and resilience. Today we'll cover the science of sleep, why it matters, and how to optimize it, even with challenging shift schedules. Everything here is grounded in clinical research and best practices. Let's jump right in. Sleep physiology is the study of the biological processes involved in sleep, including how the brain and body function during different sleep stages. Having a basic understanding of these concepts can help you understand how your environment and habits can affect your sleep and how you can improve your sleep. Sleep is not homogeneous. Rather, it's composed of multiple physiologically unique stages. Throughout your time asleep, your brain will repeatedly cycle through two different types of sleep: rapid eye movement, or REM, and non-REM sleep. Non-REM is divided into 3 stages, progressing from light to deep sleep. The first stage, N1, is a transition stage between wakefulness and sleep. Your brain activity slows. Alpha waves, what we experience in relaxed wakefulness, give way to theta waves. Muscles begin to relax, heart rate starts to slow down, but you can still be easily awakened. It's also referred to as the hypnagogic state, where you're half awake, half asleep. You can experience what we call hypnagogic hallucinations, such as fleeting geometric patterns, light flashes, or detailed images. You may hear voices, music, or ringing. Many people report hearing their name being called. You may have the sense of weightlessness, falling, or other body distortions. If you've ever started to fall asleep and dreamt you were falling and then suddenly jerk yourself awake, that's a hypnagogic hallucination. The second stage, or N2, makes up the largest portion of sleep. A specific pattern of brain activity called sleep spindles and K complexes occur. These protect sleep and aid memory processing. Heart rate slows further, breathing regulates, and body temperatures drop. This is important for stabilizing motor memories and skills, especially after training. N3, the third stage, is deep sleep and occurs mostly in the first half of the night. It's characterized by delta waves, slow, high-amplitude brain waves. Growth hormone release peaks, physical restoration occurs. This is when tissues repair, muscles recover, and the immune system strengthens. It also contributes to declarative memory consolidation, the part of memory responsible for facts and knowledge. This is especially important if you're in school or training. Sleep deprivation disproportionately reduces N3. REM sleep was previously believed to be the most important sleep phase for learning and memory. However, new data suggests that non-REM sleep is more important for these tasks, as well as being the more restful and restoration phase of sleep. As you cycle into REM sleep, the eyes move rapidly behind closed lids, hence the name rapid eye movement. Your brain is very active during this time, resembling wakefulness. During REM, your heart rate and breathing fluctuate. Vivid dreaming occurs, and the skeletal muscles are paralyzed to prevent us from acting out our dreams and potentially getting hurt. If you've ever dreamt that you were trying to run and you feel like you're moving through quicksand, or you try to punch and you just barely touch your target or miss it altogether, this is because of the paralysis. Your brain is looking for feedback from your body about that intended movement, but since no actual movement is occurring, your brain interprets this into your dream, making you dream that you cannot fight or run. REM is important for cognitive performance, and it supports learning, creativity, and problem solving. We process stress, fear, and emotional memories during this stage. Lack of REM is strongly linked to mood instability, irritability, and higher risk of depression and anxiety. Overall, we need both REM and non-REM sleep for performance, well-being, and long-term health. In healthy sleep, your body cycles through 4 to 6 cycles, each lasting about 90 minutes. More deep sleep occurs early in the first half of sleep and more REM in the later cycles. Disruptions to sleep, such as shift work, shortened sleep, alcohol, caffeine, These things fragment these cycles, cutting into deep or REM stages, which directly affects physical recovery, cognition, and emotional health. Sleep is thought to be controlled by two main systems: homeostatic sleep pressure, also called sleep drive, and your circadian rhythm, or sometimes called your body clock. Ultimately, both processes hardwire us to be awake during the day and asleep at night. Homeostatic sleep pressure, or sleep drive, refers to the biological buildup of sleepiness that occurs the longer you've been awake. The longer you stay awake, the stronger your body's drive for sleep becomes. This pressure builds up in the brain, partly due to a chemical called adenosine. Adenosine is the byproduct of ATP metabolism in the brain. While awake, brain activity uses ATP as energy, and its byproduct, adenosine, accumulates. Adenosine binds to receptors in the brain, making you feel drowsy. When enough pressure builds, it pushes you into non-REM sleep when you finally go to bed. During sleep, adenosine gradually decreases. After a full night of good quality sleep, the drive is reset. Without a full night's sleep, you will become sleepier throughout your day. Your body produces a higher drive for sleep under some circumstances. When the immune system is fighting an infection, it produces more immune mediators, which cause more sleepiness. Also, cognitively stimulating or demanding experiences and physically demanding experiences could increase sleep pressure further. As a result, our sleep may be longer and deeper after those experiences. Your circadian rhythm is like your body's built-in timer, running every day in the background, keeping you on schedule, and able to reset when your environment changes. Just like your phone has background timers and processes you don't see, your circadian rhythm is always ticking away inside you, even if you're not paying attention. Circadian rhythms are internally driven cycles of biochemical, physiological, and behavioral processes of living beings that rise and fall across a roughly 24-hour cycle. A timer on your phone might launch an app or reminder at a certain time. Similarly, your circadian rhythms trigger body functions at set times. They promote sleepiness before usual bedtime, help initiate sleep, and begin promoting wakefulness before usual wake-up time in the morning. These rhythms are orchestrated by a master circadian pacemaker or clock, a small area in the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN. Just like a timer can be set to repeat every 24 hours, your circadian clock works in a similar way, reminding your body when to wake up, when to eat, and when to sleep. How your circadian clock differs from an alarm on your phone is that it runs a bit longer than 24 hours, by about 20 minutes. So it relies on external cues to help run it at the 24 hours. Your SCN is highly sensitive to the light and dark cycles of the sun, but artificial light also influences it. Normally, light enters the eye, even through closed eyelids during sleep, and signals to the SCN the time for awakening and activity. Darkness triggers the SCN to get ready for sleep by communicating to the pineal gland to start producing melatonin. Melatonin helps us fall asleep. Exposure to bright light, especially in the evening, can inhibit melatonin production, making it harder for us to fall asleep. Regular exercise helps synchronize the body's internal clock, improving sleep and metabolism. It's also great for mental health and cognitive performance. Regular exercise in the morning helps improve sleep at night, while exercise at night delays your sleep-wake cycle. This means if you're on days or swing, work out earlier and avoid late-night gym visits. If you're on mids, get some sleep before your shift. Your body temperature also has a circadian rhythm, lowering before and during sleep, and rising before you wake up, getting you ready to start your day. The sleep and wake schedules of shift workers are frequently in conflict with the sun's light and dark cycle, which drives your circadian rhythm to promote sleep at night and wakefulness during daylight hours. In general, people have more difficulties getting up earlier and have an easier time getting up later. Again, this is because of the clock running a bit longer than 24 hours. If you change the time on your phone, the alarms and reminders shift. For your body, light, especially morning sunlight, meals, and activity can reset your circadian clock, like when you travel across time zones and get jet lag. But circadian rhythms need time to adjust to new sleep schedules, so changing schedules can be difficult. especially if you're on meds and struggle to stay on the schedule on your days off. Sleep drive and circadian rhythms work together, not independently, to regulate our sleep-wake cycle. Your sleep drive builds the longer you're awake and is relieved by sleep. Your circadian clock promotes alertness during the day and sleepiness at night. Together, their interaction creates the normal pattern of wakefulness and sleep. Your circadian clock encourages wakefulness during the day, helping offset the growing sleep pressure of your sleep drive. As evening approaches, your circadian clock signals sleepiness, and the accumulated sleep pressure creates a strong drive to go to sleep. The combined effect of the circadian alerting signal and the homeostatic sleep pressure creates the normal cycle of sleep and wakefulness. When these two processes become out of sync, such as during sleep deprivation, the sleep-wake cycle can become unstable, leading to reduced performance and involuntary sleep. Sleep affects almost every type of tissue and system in the body. Quality sleep is important for physical health, including metabolic health, physical performance, cognitive performance, mental health, and emotional resilience. During non-REM deep sleep, the body releases growth hormone, which is crucial for tissue repair and recovery. Sleep strengthens immune defenses and regulates hormones like cortisol and leptin, which impact your metabolism. A chronic lack of sleep can increase the risk for non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity. One single night of poor sleep slows reaction time as much as being intoxicated. Sleep restriction reduces time to exhaustion, VO2 max, and peak power output. This means you fatigue earlier, both centrally, brain-driven, and peripherally, muscle-driven. Poor sleep blunts muscle glycogen replenishment and delays muscle repair. This compromises recovery between training sessions or operational demands. Reduced sleep leads to increased injury risk. Studies in athletes and military populations show that sleeping less than 6 hours is associated with significantly higher injury risk due to slower neuromuscular recovery and impaired vigilance. On the other hand, quality sleep enhances motor learning and skill consolidation. Sleep isn't optional, it's the foundation of sustained performance. Sleep plays a central role in regulating insulin and glucose uptake. Sleep restriction, 4 to 5 hours per night, is linked to a reduced insulin sensitivity and impaired glucose tolerance, raising risk for metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. Sleep helps balance appetite-regulating hormones. Leptin increases, ghrelin decreases. When we're sleep deprived, as well as on shift work, people experience increased hunger and altered satiety cues, which can impair fueling for training and recovery. Research also shows that sleep deprivation and shift work cause people to crave high-calorie, high-fat, and high-sugar foods, driven by hormonal shifts and increased activity in brain regions associated with pleasure and emotion. Adequate sleep improves mitochondrial function, supporting aerobic metabolism, fat oxidation, and efficient energy production during submaximal exercise. Cognition underpins mission success. Sleep strengthens learning by consolidating memory and clearing irrelevant information. Memory consolidation occurs during both REM and non-REM sleep. Decision-making and problem-solving decline with sleep deprivation. It also causes more distractedness, impairment in short-term attention span, and problems with impulse control. Attention and vigilance drop with cumulative sleep debt. Many people think they have ADHD when they really are suffering from poor sleep. Significant neurocognitive deficits accumulate over time as people get used to it, being sleep deprived. When attention, decision-making, and situational degrade occur, mission errors are more likely to happen. Emotional resilience is built during sleep. REM sleep regulates emotions and your stress response. Guardians deprived of REM show higher stress reactivity and mood instability. Sleep loss increases impatience, irritability, as well as risk for anxiety and depression. Chronic insomnia doubles the risk for mood disorders such as depression and anxiety. Protecting sleep protects your mental health, which in turn protects the mission. You may recall from your MRP assessment or week 2 of this program that lactate thresholds mark the exercise intensity, where lactate production outpaces clearance, signaling a shift from primarily aerobic to increasingly anaerobic metabolism. This is one of the strongest predictors of endurance performance. Research suggests sleep loss lowers lactate threshold. In sleep-deprived states, individuals accumulate lactate at lower workloads compared to being well rested. This means fatigue and anaerobic stress set in earlier. Mechanisms include reduced mitochondrial efficiency, impaired buffering capacity, and increased sympathetic nervous system activity, as well as altered glucose metabolism. Poor sleep reduces the adaptive signaling from endurance training, such as lower mitochondrial production leading to lower energy. This makes it harder to move the lactate threshold upward with consistent training. Since lactate threshold testing also depends on maximal effort and pacing strategy, sleep deprivation can impair motivation and perceived exertion, further lowering lactate threshold performance indirectly. Military life creates structural barriers to sleep. Sleep deprivation is the rule rather than the exception in military. Humans need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Individuals sleeping less than 7 hours per night is doubled in military compared to the civilian population. Acknowledging these challenges helps us target evidence-based strategies rather than blame or just toughing it out. The nature of your work requires night operations and rotating schedules. Environmental disruptions such as noise, light, conditions at home or in the dorms, like roommates, partners, kids, pets, can make keeping a strict schedule difficult, if not impossible. Stress and hypoarousal disrupt sleep by triggering a heightened state of alertness that prevents the brain from winding down, leading to difficulty falling asleep and fragmented sleep. Hormones like adrenaline and cortisol can be released and activate brain arousal systems that are normally downregulated during sleep. The resulting sleep loss can then exacerbate the stress response, creating a vicious cycle that can lead to chronic insomnia. But there's hope. Evidence-based strategies can help you adapt. Let's look into some. First up are principles that apply across shifts. They form your baseline sleep hygiene, simple proven strategies backed by clinical sleep research. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Keep a consistent sleep-wake schedule. Avoid caffeine within 6 hours of bed. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors. It doesn't stop adenosine from building up, but it prevents you from feeling the sleepiness signal. That's why a crash can follow when caffeine wears off. With regular sleep-wake schedules, adenosine can accumulate at times when you need to be awake, making fatigue overwhelming. High adenosine levels impair reaction time, vigilance, and mood, similar to acute sleep deprivation. Reduce blue light before bed. Optimize sleep environment. Think of a cave, keeping it dark, cool, and quiet. Anchoring your circadian rhythm with morning light is one of the most powerful tools for day workers. Pair that with consistent routines to train the body for restorative sleep. Get consistent exercise, ideally in the morning. Anchor wake time with morning sunlight exposure. Get outside and get about 15 minutes of sunlight without sunglasses before 10 a.m. It doesn't need to be sunny out. Avoid screen use before bed. Use blue light filters if needed. Develop a wind-down routine, such as stretching, yoga, mindfulness, reading, things to calm down and get you ready for sleep. Swing shifts push sleep later than natural circadian preference. Napping before shift and controlling light after work help align your system and prevent chronic debt. Get exercise before your shift. Limit caffeine after mid-shift. Use bright light during early hours to boost alertness and begin to dim closer to the end of your shift. Mids are the toughest for circadian misalignment. Evidence supports using light and darkness as tactical tools. Bright exposure at work, complete blackout at home. If you can, nap before your shift. About an hour and a half is ideal. Use bright light exposure during work to trick circadian rhythms. Avoid caffeine in the final half of your shift. Get to sleep as soon as possible post-shift in a cool, dark, quiet environment. I recommend putting dark sunglasses on just as you're leaving the ops floor. There are loads of apps and podcasts that can help with sleep. Apps such as Calm and Headspace or different sound machines can help give you something to think about as you're drifting off. Set your alarm, take a moment to mindfully check that you did this, and then keep your phone out of arm's reach. Just a note about wearables. They are not medical grade and are not totally accurate, and some are pretty bad. So don't take that information too seriously. Check in more with how you feel. While we can't make up a sleep debt, we can bank sleep before long operations. Sleep extension, or banking, improves resilience during deprivation. When time is limited, naps offer targeted recovery. Short naps, 20 to 30 minutes, are good for alertness. Full cycle naps, 90 minutes, are good for recovery. Caffeine is most effective when timed strategically and not used continuously. Caffeine is great as a performance enhancer, not as a crutch. You can try combining a nap with caffeine use in what's called a nappuccino. You drink caffeine, whether that's coffee or your energy drink, and immediately take about a 20-minute nap. It takes about 20 minutes for that caffeine to kick in. So in wrapping this up, remember, sleep underpins physical, cognitive, and psychological readiness. With the right strategies, Guardians can protect performance, health, and resilience, even under operational demands. As you reflect on this content, ask yourself, what sleep challenges do you face most often? And then what's one evidence-based tactic you'll commit to trying this week? Remember, sleep is as essential to physical and mental health as exercise and proper nutrition. Thank you for your commitment to taking care of yourself, and have a great week 5 of the Buckley Mission Ready Performance Challenge. Please reach out to me if you want to discuss any of the content here, or reach out to the team if you need any support or have any questions. Be well.